You could start to do what's called fear setting, setting up actions for here's what I would do if that happened. And it starts to lessen your fears and give you a sense of like, that's not ideal that that would happen, but maybe it's actually not such a catastrophe because life would go on and here's how I would help it to go on. Hey dancers, it's Kirsten. Welcome back to the Confident Dancer YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 tips on how to calm your nerves as a dancer. This is perfect for you if you've got an audition, a competition, a rehearsal you're stressed about, or a performance coming up. You can use these 5 simple tips to calm your nerves and have the ability to perform the way that you would like. So let's get into it. Number 1 is to create a bigger purpose or intention for the reason why you're doing the thing you're about to do. Whether it is to rehearse, perform, go to an audition, whatever it is. So often our simple intention or goal is just to perform our best and to, get into the program. But if that's your only intention, what happens? We put so much pressure on ourselves to perform our best, which when we ask, what does that really mean? What does it look like to perform your best? If you're going to get really honest and specific with yourself, I'm willing to bet it has a lot to do with not making any mistakes. But how reasonable is that, you guys? It's not reasonable. And then also it's like such a high bar of success and failure. It's like a pass fail, 100% or 0. Success is like not making any mistakes. So then you make one mistake, like 2 counts into the show, the whole thing is over. I used to have this mindset and it totally made me so nervous leading up to the performance. And then it also totally rattled me when I would be in the performance and I would make a little mistake. So what I mean by creating a higher purpose or intention behind the performance can look like this. Instead of success and failure being defined as no mistakes, for example, that's success, or even just like getting into the program if it's an audition. Instead, you can set a higher intention or purpose, such as for a performance. I love this. I think about the audience. I think about the feeling I want to share with them through my performance. I think about the experience I want to create for the people watching, even the trained eyes and the wings, my peers, I think of, instead of trying to please them or do well so no one judges me, I think, okay, I want to have a spirit of generosity. I want to have such joy in my performance and really just enjoy and have acceptance as well for my mistakes. So I also set that example of like other people can have that response too, and we can all just stop taking ourselves some things seriously and have joy, So I would think about the people watching in the wings or in the rehearsal room, and then also the audience I would be performing for eventually. And when I really set my intention there, it actually helps me to perform so much better. I would still have some nerves because that's totally normal, but they wouldn't overtake me because I actually wasn't thinking about myself so much. I was kind of thinking of the bigger picture, the bigger purpose, and I felt more like one piece of the puzzle rather than the weight of the world is on my shoulders and I have to be perfect. Point number 2 is to be mindful of what you are allowing your mind to visually rehearse. The way the brain works is your nervous system doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's vividly imagined. What happens is we think of like the audition coming up. In order to process the thought of the audition coming up, it's most likely that a picture will come to mind of the audition happening. And based off of whatever picture is in your mind, your nervous system responds accordingly as if it's really happening. Whoa! This happens, and we know it experientially, but I want to bring that to your conscious awareness that that's how the brain works. Once you know that, you can start to change the visual, change your feeling around the future event that hasn't happened yet, but your body is reacting as if it's actually happening. And if you start to notice that your visual that's coming up is very stressful, it's like of you being one little dancer with a little number in a sea of 100 other dancers who are perfect, and you visualize yourself making a mistake. Like, start to become conscious of the visuals that are coming up and recognize that that's a rehearsal. Worry serves a purpose. It is a function of our brains that allows us to sense threats, future threats, and generate a plan for how we will protect ourselves from it. So worrying actually isn't necessarily all a bad thing. Now, when we let our minds just run wild with worry, it does us harm, but there is a function to the process of worrying. So what you can do though is instead of letting your mind just go to the worst thing that can happen or something that you're dreading and rehearsing that, what you can do is intentionally kind of override that process by noticing the visual that comes up, seeing if it creates nerves or fear or anxiety, and instead start to shift that visual to intentionally visualize, how do I want to perform? What's the way I want to show up? What would my body language be? How do I want to feel? How do I want to dance? All those things. Start to rehearse it vividly in your mind. And again, since your nervous system doesn't know the difference between what's real and vividly imagined, you're going to start to physiologically respond as if that's actually happening. Since your subconscious mind will actually start to encode that experience and rehearse it to prepare to replicate it. When you actually get into the room, you'll have some sense of familiarity of like, okay, I've danced like that before. I don't have to just hope that it will happen. I have some sense of familiarity in my mind and body that this is how I'm going to dance. This is how I'm going to handle it. Even, here's a pro tip, visually rehearse you making a mistake or encountering a situation that scares you, and actually start to rehearse in your mind how you will recover from it and feel good about that. That is a way to really use the purpose of worrying and use it, turn it around, change it in a way to where you actually rehearse your optimum performance and recovery of the thing that you're so scared of, so that it will actually lower your sense of nervousness or anxiety around this event that you're nervous about. Hey dancers, thanks so much for watching this video so far. I want to briefly talk to you about the Confident Dancer Coaching Program, which is a new and improved version of the mindset coaching program I've been doing for years with pre-professional and professional dancers from all over the world. So the Confident Dancer Coaching Program is a 4-month signature program where we really do the inner work of preparing your mindset, your emotional wellness, and your career strategy to accomplish your goals, get you to a place where your mind and your emotions help you to actually perform your best consistently, so that we can pair that with strategic action to help you perform your best with well-being in the process. I'm all about combining mental health, emotional wellness with all these aspects of optimum performance so that you can be a thriving dancer. There's no better time to engage with this than at the start of audition season. So if you want my support in really turning up the dial on your personal confidence, seeing yourself perform better than ever before because you're working on the mental aspect of that, you're not going to get that level of support at all in your technique classes. So that's just not what technique classes are meant for. So if you're in the place where you're like, I really want to perform my best, I want to feel awesome, I want to thrive as a dancer, I want to know that I'm doing my best, and I'm tired of things like self-doubt and insecurities getting in my way of that, or nervousness, I am here for you. I would love for you to check out this program. Again, the Confident Dancer Coaching Program. Spots are limited, so check it out and apply today. I would love to support you. Link is in the description to my new website, kirstenkemp.com. Same URL, but new and improved website. If you do nothing else, just please go look at the website. It looks so pretty now. I'm very proud of it. So go do that. And I can't wait to connect with you and work with some of you for a very, very successful start to your year. All right. Let's get on with the video. Point number 3 is, especially when you actually are leading up in the moments to the performance, the event, whatever it is that you're nervous about, and then also when you are doing the thing, what you can do in the moment is tune your awareness into your body and also into your peripheral awareness, your expanded awareness, it's called. Peripheral vision. There are lots of different names for this. So what you can do is you can do this expanded awareness exercise I've talked about a million times. And the purpose of it is to engage your senses in absorbing what's going on in the room around you and what's going on in your body. And it naturally, since we have a very limited amount of space in our minds for what can fill our conscious awareness, out of literally millions of bits of information, your brain can only hold in its conscious awareness, again, only about 126 bits of information. While out of literally millions of bits of information. So what you could do is you could use that to your advantage. Fill your awareness with the sensation in your body of what it feels like to breathe. Start to maybe bend your knees and feel that you're really rooted into the floor. Start to not only tune into your breath, but allow your body to feel grounded, calm, and good. Tune your awareness into that. While you also have your eye line, you could use your eyes and your vision to actually change the way your brain is functioning in the present moment. Just start to fix your gaze on one point and expand your awareness out to what's going on around you in the sides of the room, above and below you. Just expand your awareness into your periphery and just take a couple seconds there. And then just as you start to shift your gaze in the room and whatever situation you're in, you can maintain your peripheral awareness and then also the awareness of your body, even as you dance, as you listen to the teacher or the music or whatever you're doing. And what that will do is it will shift your awareness from those very worried, rapid fire thoughts that often are associated with nervousness and that get you into this just downward spiral of worrying, also that you're worrying and then getting in your head and then you mess up. Totally been there. It gets your awareness into, okay, the present moment, into the sensations in your body, the feeling that you'll need to tap into in order to do a step properly, and that will really lower your amount of nervousness in the moment. Number 4 is to start to challenge the fearful thoughts that are coming into your mind. I really like how I heard from Tim Ferriss, if any of you guys are Tim Ferriss fans, maybe not in the ballet space, but I don't know, if you're into personal development, you've probably heard of Tim Ferriss. So one thing that he mentioned is the importance of challenging your fears to discover if any of them are unfounded. That is a thing. It is important to recognize that, like you've probably heard, a vast majority of the fears that we encounter in our thoughts don't come into fruition. They don't happen. And so it is really important to not just try to ignore those thoughts and change them to be positive, but also to look those thoughts in the face and to say, okay, first, what am I afraid of? How likely is it that it will happen? Here's the kicker. If that did happen, what would I do about it? Okay, so then you have the answer. What would I do about it? Okay, I fall off a point. I would get up again and just keep dancing. Okay, yeah, what would happen then? All right, I would keep dancing and maybe I'd feel a little rattled for a minute, but I would just do the best I can with the rest of the thing. Okay, what would happen then? I could recover okay. All right, you're afraid of bombing the performance. Let's say you do. What would you do about it? You would feel sad for a little bit, allow yourself to feel sad. You would, eventually stop feeling sad, come back the next day, practice the things that you felt you made a mistake in, learn something, get better, keep going. Even if the worst happened, you lost a part, you lost a contract, you didn't get into any of the programs you were shooting for. Those have, reason to them. They're not unfounded. Some fears are unfounded, like, I'm afraid that someone is going to judge me. Okay, if they do, how likely is it that that peer is actually going to tell you that they judged you? What does that actually have to do with you? How much are you actually going to allow that to dictate your life experience? That's more unfounded. Versus the more founded fears, you could start to do what's called fear setting up actions for here's what I would do if that happened. And it starts to lessen your fears and give you a sense of like, that's not ideal that would happen, but maybe it's actually not such a catastrophe because life would go on and here's how I would help it to go on. So that's a process you could do of engaging with, looking at and questioning and planning around your fears so that they don't take control over you and seem so catastrophic. Number 5. Know that it is okay to be nervous. A lot of times when I am working with dancers, and I've experienced this too, what I really pick up on is the problem isn't actually that we're nervous. It's that when we get nervous, we have a belief associated with that nervousness that means we're going to probably perform badly. We're going to psych ourselves out and it's not going to go well. So then we actually start to get nervous or worried that we're nervous. And then it kind of turns into a spiral of like a chain of thoughts where it's like, I'm nervous, so it won't go well. And if it doesn't go well, I'll be humiliated. And maybe I'm not the kind of dancer I want to be. And maybe, it really starts to go down a chain of thoughts that's like really scary. So instead, I want to normalize that it is okay to feel nervous. When you start to feel the sensation of nervousness, just pause right there. Have a moment where you acknowledge, I am feeling nervous. I'm feeling nervous. Not just I am nervous, I'm feeling the feeling of nervousness. Okay, you're allowed to just leave it there. and actually start to take charge of the narrative around that. Does that mean I can't perform while I'm nervous? Maybe I can. Instead of going down the rabbit hole of, because I'm nervous, I probably will psych myself out and I'm not going to be concentrated and I felt this way before and it didn't go well, so maybe it's going to happen again. Maybe not. How can you learn to coexist with the feeling of nervousness and actually get good at dancing while you're nervous? Instead of hoping that it'll go away, because nervousness is attached to a lot of experiences in your past where because you're nervous you felt you didn't do well, and so anytime you feel nervous again it triggers all those old memories. And that's totally understandable, and that is something that I do help dancers to do more of that inner work in my coaching programs around actually relieving those triggers, releasing them, so you don't constantly get triggered into nervousness means I'm going to perform like trash, means I can't, all that. But what you can even do on your own without the higher level tools to resolve the trigger is just to say, like, all right, it is okay to be nervous. That doesn't have to mean anything about my future performance. So just give yourself permission to feel that and to learn the skill of going out there and doing it anyway. It doesn't have to mean the whole performance is going to be so affected by it, the nervousness, if you don't let it. So that is all for this video. Dancers, I really hope that you enjoyed this. I'd love to hear in the comments which one of these tips are you most excited to put into practice. Also, I'd love to hear what are some things that are coming up for you that are exciting but also a little nerve-wracking. I'd love to hear and cheer you on in the comments, so let me know. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!